If you're like me and you're tired of feeling stressed during your tier 2 gauntlet runs and you find yourself never having enough time to gather the resources that you need, then I have the perfect guide for you. I have recently started the corrupted gauntlet grind myself, and I have encountered the usual videos that people watch for learning this fight, and while those videos were absolutely amazing in getting me started, I did end up having to tweak a few things that I learned in order to get the preparation down consistently. This video will mainly be covering the tier 2 prep itself, but after all of the prep tips, I will also include a couple of fight tips that should massively help you deal with the hunllef, so without any further delay, let's just get right into it. Before I break down my full prep, I want to first talk about a couple of plugins that have helped me a ton, and also do a really quick overview of what the preparation run is going to look like, and then afterwards we're going to do a more thorough example. But to the plugins first plugin, and arguably the most important one, is actually just called the Gauntlet. This plugin has a lot of functionalities, but I mainly use it for resource tracking. You can set up how much of each resource you are looking for, and as you gather those resources, the overlay will count them down for you, making it super easy to stay on track of what you have at all times. It'll even unhighlight resources once you have enough of them. I also use this plugin to highlight which attack style I need to use against the hunllef at any given time. To do this, just go to the hunllef area in the plugin settings, turn on the outline hunllef tile option, and then in the color tile by prayer box, check the inverted option. Now whenever you see a blue box under the hunllef, you know that you should attack with mage, and whenever it swaps to green, you know it's time for you to range. Another great plugin for beginners is the Gauntlet map. This plugin adds a small map overlay and shows you exactly where in the maze you are at all times. I definitely don't recommend getting used to having this map and relying on it, but it did help me find my way around to the demi-bosses a little bit quicker when I was first starting out. And the last plugin I have is more for the boss fight itself. It is called the Gauntlet Performance Tracker, and what this does is after you finish your fight with the hunllef, it gives you a list of everything that you did wrong and a little bit of what you did right, but it basically will show you how many ticks you did not use, how many you missed, how many times you were off prayer, how many times you were attacking with the wrong weapon. It just shows you a whole bunch of things, and it may not seem like you would need this, but I promise you, if you take the time to look at what you were doing wrong according to the tracker and then change them the next time you fight the boss, you will absolutely see progress in your next fight. Alrighty. Now that the plugins are completely out of the way, let's do a really quick overview of this prep guide, and then we'll get into the more thorough full runs afterwards. Overall, we're going to be breaking down our tier 2 prep into 3 different stages. The first stage just consists of looping around the starting room and gathering resources, killing a couple of these small mobs for a weapon frame, and just gathering 100 shards minimum. Stage 2 is where we buy our first tier 2 staff, we head out and kill demi-bosses for desired weapon upgrades, and we end up killing some of the bigger mobs like the unicorns or the scorpions in order to get enough shards to completely buy our armor and our weapon upgrades. And then stage 3 just leaves us with fishing and then finishing up any potions that we didn't make during stage 2. So now that you know a few helpful plugins and also a super quick short overview of how the run should go, let's dive into a more detailed prep. Alrighty, we are here in the corrupted gauntlet, time to do our live prep. We're going to start out by first doing a U-shape around this storeroom. Go ahead and just kill this rat right off the bat. You definitely always want to be flicking piety if you have it. Just flick whatever prayers you have. Highly recommend doing it. Makes the prep go by just a little bit quicker, but that definitely starts adding up as you kind of go through the gauntlet for sure. Let's go ahead and grab whatever we can in this starting room. And also a quick side note, this is actually going to be the second live prep that I am recording. I'm going to be showing you guys both runs that I do, but I just feel like in my second one that I did, it's still really good, really informative, but I just feel like I didn't talk about some essential key points quite as much as I'm going to in this run. So just figured I'd go ahead and do another one. 2 live preps can't hurt. Show you guys a little more RNG and how to deal with it. But yeah, first the thing you want to do is always do the starting little loop around the room. Pretty much guarantees that you'll get most of the resources that you're needing. And it also allows us to scout the demi-boss rooms as we are running by them. So real quick, I probably should have grabbed that one on the right, but we'll grab this one. Probably just need one more, I think. Yep, there's that. Drop our axe. There's the bear, so we know he's chilling there. And it's really good to scout the demi-boss rooms as you run by them, because on our second loop, we're going to be running out with our tier 2 staff in order to kill the demi-bosses. And let's just say, for example, there was only like one bear here. There wasn't any like dragons. There wasn't a second bear. There was nothing. then we would know that, oh, I should probably, yeah, a little bit of a tick loss there, not going for these like right off the bat, but they're kind of close, so we may as well just snag them real quick. We also don't have a weapon frame just yet, and you don't want to kill these big mobs to try to get your weapon frame. They just take way too long to kill. You're going to waste a lot of time trying to kill them without your tier 2 staff. Usually at some point during the loop, you are going to find a room that has a bunch of small mobs in it, so definitely don't just try to like go for the big ones. You will waste a ton of time and probably end up not making it to do your prep. But we're almost back to the storeroom now. Don't have a weapon frame yet, which is a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully, there we go. Usually doesn't take too terribly long to end up getting one. And we have over our 100 shards, so we're going to go ahead and come to the store here. You want to buy a tier 2 staff, at least 1 vial, ideally maybe even 2 if you can afford it, and then whatever armor you can, and then go ahead and drop every resource you have. Don't drop your grime root though. Definitely want to hold on to that. Equip your armor if you have one. And now that we have that, we're going to head out to the demi-bosses that we scouted. If there had been like that situation we were talking about earlier where there was only like 1 bear here or something, we probably would have ran off like to a different side, tried to go for one of those demi-bosses instead. But since there are 2 here, it's not too bad to run over here. We're going to for sure be able to break down the spike that we get with the mortar and pestle. So that's going to be some easy shards from killing the bear, and then some easy shards from breaking that down. I think we'll get like 80 or so. So it's definitely going to help us get the remaining 400 that we need. Quite a ways to go. I am just hitting non-stop 1s on this bear right now. 1s and 0s. This is a little bit unfortunate. It usually doesn't go quite this bad. But we'll get there eventually. So there's that. We'll move into place to kill the second bear. Break that down on the way. And here we are. We'll just kill this guy next. We still need 4 of the linen, so we're going to be looking for that on the way to kill the second set of demi-bosses, like in the next area that we go to. But that's why it's not too bad if you don't end up finding everything you need on your first loop, because most of the time you are going to end up running around trying to find the demis, and then even if we had gotten both demis that we needed, like we got the dragon and the range right off the bat, there's a chance that we still would have needed to run around to try to find some like scorpions and horses, so we can finish out the rest of our shards. So at some point, there's a extremely high chance that you were going to find what you need. So don't worry if you don't get it done the first loop. That was a big problem for me starting out. But after a few runs now, I've been able to realize that you don't have to quite get everything on that first loop. But hopefully we're going to have some better demi-boss luck here. Nope, we do get the linen that we need though. We need 4 of it, so I guess we'll run over here, grab the 3, and then grab the 1. Good thing about this now though is if the demi-boss happens to be in this next room here, then we are just about able to, oh, I almost clicked on him without putting protection up. They will instantly attack you, so definitely make sure you have your ranged up before you do anything like that. And there is our upgrade. Now we're just gonna run around. Oh no, we do not have to actually run around anywhere. I really should have got a potion if I, okay nice, there's one that we can get really quick. Probably could have made the potion at home, honestly. I probably should have teleported and then instantly used the little water pump that we have back there, but I kind of played that a little bit badly, so you guys can probably be able to tweak that a little bit and get a little bit better of a time coming back. But we're doing pretty good on time still. We have all the shards that we need. We're just gonna make our stuff, make all the armor that we need, all the tier 1 armor, pick all the rest of that up, finish out the tier 2, make our bow that we need, make a couple of vials. Make sure you always have at least 50 of your shards so you can make a teleport crystal. I promise that the teleport crystals, when I was first starting out, they didn't seem like they would be an absolute necessity and I could probably skip them and not have to really worry about using them. But that is a massive, massive mistake. I promise using your teleport crystals, making sure you always have at least 50 shards so you can buy one. You can pretty much run out anywhere you need to. And then at 20 seconds left, you just teleport back and you have enough time to pretty much cook an entire inventory of fish. So most of the time on that first loop, you don't really end up using your teleport crystal because we're just doing that little U loop around the storeroom. So you kind of just end back up at the storeroom. But whenever we're running out to try to get some fish going though, you definitely are probably going to be cutting it close on time. So definitely always make sure to get the crystal if you can. It pops off for sure. Teleport back with 20 seconds left. Head over here, do a little bit of inventory management on the way. We're definitely cutting it close, but we should be good. Yeah, we're going to be able to finish up nicely. A little bit of a tight squeeze, trying to make sure that we got everything, but we did though. Alrighty, now that we are into the Gauntlet, we see the boss room right here, so we're going to just hit this first room, run over to any resources that we find. There's a little bit of all of them in this room, so that's not too bad of a starting room for us. Go ahead and grab this grime root. Only need one of them for our first loop. Sometimes you can do two of them, but it kind of makes the inventory a little bit weird if you sometimes it kind of makes the inventory a little bit weird depending on what order you end up grabbing stuff in. Some more resources here. This is going to be our first demi-boss room. I do believe it is the Gauntlet map plugin that is able to highlight these little demi-boss rooms, so you always know where you need to go there. Only needed the one from the linen, that's good. Go ahead and chop this tree down. Getting a lot of the resources that we need. We're going to step off to the side here when we light this node, because if there was a dragon or something there and you're standing in the middle, it will instantly hit you and you will be very upset at how much health you end up losing. So no demi-bosses here, so it's good that we scouted like we did, because we know that we are not going to be running this way as we run out of this loop. I'm glad that there were some small enemies here for us to kill, because we do not want to fight the big ones in order to try to get our weapon frame. And I guess we'll kill one more. I should have ran to the store. I do have over the 100 that we need, but it can never hurt getting a little bit extra there. All right, we didn't get all the resources that we need. We need one more ore, one more bark, but that is just fine. We will be able to absolutely find that at some point while we are out and about. Let's just make whatever armor we can. Probably can't make any more. Okay, we got the helmet, and now we are going to drop every resource that we just picked up. You can drop your grime root if you want to. Actually, I don't recommend doing that though, because we need to make a potion. Don't drop your grime root though, because you need that to make a potion while you're running around. Let's go ahead and grab our last tree there, and now we can drop that, hopefully, and there is the range boss that we need. Oh no, we did not equip our staff. We were about to try to hit him. I highly recommend the Royal Titan's Prayers if you guys are struggling with this encounter. Like, even in the prep, it definitely helps killing these kind of bosses. It definitely helps in the hunllef fight itself, so the Royal Titan scrolls are definitely a good thing to go for if you don't quite have the chamber scrolls. Alright, we got the ranged upgrade. Let's hope for the dragon here. Please, dragon. No dragon. Maybe it's on this next one though. It's all good if you end up running into a situation where you don't quite find the bosses. Yep, so we only got one boss out of that one. Very unlucky on that, but that's all good though. At least you guys will get to see how to handle running into this situation. We're just gonna absolutely floor it over to the next room. Gonna fill up this while we're here, like that. And looky there, we had to go run over to these bosses, and while we were searching through everything, we got the last ore that we needed. So it was no big deal that we didn't end up getting it on our first loop, and there is the dragon as well. That could not have worked out any better for us. Try to crush that up while we're attacking. Just every time I see the XP drop, I know that I can do another action most likely. And now we will just flick the dragon. And some nice drops from him. But since we have our upgrades, we are not quite done. One thing that you can even do if this ends up being, let's see what we have here. Another dragon. Honestly, we can end up fighting another demi-boss, and I will show you guys what to do after we kill this extra one. Well, this route is definitely slightly slower than if I was able to just find a few of the big bosses, or the big mobs like the horses and unicorns, stuff like that, which we might end up, yeah, we still were able to do, so that was pretty lucky. So after I killed this horse though, even though we killed the dragon, since we already killed one before, it did give us the drop for the melee weapon since we didn't have that one yet. And you are able to pestle and mortar whatever weapon upgrade that you don't want into 80 extra shards. So we got shards from killing that extra demi-boss, and then we get the 80 shards from breaking it down. So absolutely love to see that. It's a very easy way to get a big amount of shards if you're needing them still. We only need 46, so we should be able to just kill these small mobs here and finish out the shards that we're needing. Would be ideal to have one more grime root before we head back, since we do want 3 overall, and there it is. Alright, so as soon as I get this root, we are going to instantly teleport. I probably could fish a little bit, But honestly, I have found that just instantly teleporting and not worrying about having to do inventory management once you do teleport back, because you're going to have to pick up a bunch of these resources that you drop. So just teleporting back and worrying about fishing on your very last run is a way more consistent and easy thing to do for me personally. But now that we're back, we're just going to make all of our armor. Just make sure as you make a couple of things, you pick up the rest of it. That way you can just spam through making all the stuff you need. Make a couple of vials, and then we will head to fish. Don't really worry about the small mobs. We don't need shards anymore. We've got that all figured out. We are only worried about getting enough fish now. It would be ideal if I would have filled up some water on those, but it's all right though how we're going right now. See if we can snag a bit of water now. Nope, these mobs are going to start attacking me, so don't really want to worry and get caught up with them. We can make our potions over on this far side. Go ahead and equip stuff that we need, break stuff down. Get ready to fill these up. It might look like we're getting close on time, but I have found that as long as you have a good 20 seconds at least to get back and make all the fish and stuff that you want and need, then you are definitely chilling. You don't have to rush and try to have like an extra super long time. Let's go ahead and just not take any damage from these guys though. Still 40 seconds, we are absolutely chilling. Go ahead and drop all of that so we can actually pick this stuff up. So we've already made our dust for the potions. We've already lit up any room that we need. Still 25 seconds, we are absolutely chilling. And now all we have to do, just a little bit of inventory management and just let our fish cook and we are done. We are there. We've got 15 seconds left. Not the most time ever, but plenty of time to get the fish and potions that we wanted going completely. And all topped up with prayer, and into the fight we go. Now that we have the tier 2 prep completely covered and out of the way, we can now move on to a couple of hunllef fight tips. Our first and probably most obvious one is going to be to make sure you have the safe tiles marked for the phase 3 stage. If you mark these tiles, they will ensure that you have a safe place to stand on and the lava tiles will never occur once you get to phase 3 of the boss fight. All you need to do to mark them is just hover over the barrier and then just go 1, 2, 3 and then mark both tiles that are 3 away from the doors. And that's on all sides of the door, just 1, 2, and then on that third one. And all the way around, anywhere you stand on these 4 tiles will always be safe from the lava tiles, only in phase 3 though. My second tip is going to be, while you are a beginner trying to learn the fight, don't be afraid to eat and get your prayer back up both to full at any point during the fight. I've seen a lot of tips that say that you need to camp low health and only heal during tornadoes while you're running away from them, but apparently this boss fight specifically works in a way to where if you lose ticks while you're either swapping gear, running away from tornadoes, whatever it might be, I have seen people say something about the way this fight works makes it to where whenever you eat, you apparently absorb some of those ticks, like they're retroactive or something like that. So for example, for how I think this works, let's say you miss a couple of ticks a little bit back running away from tornadoes, and then at some point during the fight, whenever hunllef switches from range to mage and you've got to swap your weapons around and whatnot, as soon as you swap your gear, if you were then to eat a fish, you apparently would absorb some of those lost ticks from earlier, and then I believe you would attack right away after eating. Something along those lines. I'm not sure exactly how it works. All I know is I've seen something about retroactive ticks. You apparently should eat whenever you need to, especially if you know that you're losing ticks, which as a beginner, you most definitely are going to do that. So never be afraid to fully eat and get your prayer up. Don't camp low health. You definitely should eat while you're running away from tornadoes, but if you need to eat at other times as well, you can definitely do that. Just try not to overdo it, but I would much rather lose a couple of ticks eating rather than planking and having to do the whole encounter over. So don't be afraid to eat. My third tip is going to be, as soon as you see the little animation for the 4th attack that the hunllef is doing to you start, you can instantly change your prayer to the other one that you need to go to. So for example, if I'm getting attacked by mage and I have my mage prayer up and I see the animation for the 4th attack happen, like they've already done 3 and the 4th one is just now starting, as soon as I see that switch, I instantly swap over to range. This has helped me a ton of times with being able to handle tornadoes or any gear swaps that I have to do. Just do that prayer swap as soon as you see the animation and you are good to go. My fourth tip is going to be, as soon as you see the hunllef raise up to do the slam, I would go ahead and eat one fish and also step towards the middle of the boss room. What this does is it'll make all the tornadoes kind of converge on top of each other once they get closer to the middle, and then once you run away, they're all kind of stacked really close together, or sometimes even on top of each other, which makes them super easy to dodge the rest of the time that they're following you around. And in some phases, stepping towards the middle of the fight will also help you line up with a really long line of sight that you can run down. So stepping towards the middle of the boss room when tornadoes happen seems to be a pretty decent idea most of the time. If anything, I'll just go to the middle and then run to the corner, and that usually stacks them up pretty decently. But you'll definitely end up finding your ways of how you prefer to deal with the tornadoes. And the last tip I have is, if you find yourself getting continuous chip damage, even with tier 2 armor, there's just nothing that you can do to stop that chip damage, try throwing on Still Skin a few times. I know that it seems that it probably shouldn't do too much, but it is crazy how big of a difference Still Skin has. The only way that it's going to turn off is if the hunllef does anything to your prayers with its magic attack, but definitely camp Still Skin if you find the chip damage is too much. It will make a pretty big difference. Alrighty, now we have covered the tier 2 prep itself, and as well as a couple of boss fights. I definitely hope that this has helped you guys get better with the prep. I know the slight tweaks that I made with dropping all of the ores and a couple of other variations was the things that I needed to be able to get this prep down consistently, so hopefully it'll help you guys out too. If there's any other tips that you guys can think of that I may have missed or should have explained or talked about, definitely please let me know, and maybe I could do an update sometime. And yeah, maybe even drop a like or a sub if this helps you, and I will talk to all of you guys in the next video. See ya.